What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how you can start generating B2B leads for your business. This is gonna work in anything like funding, marketing agencies, AI agencies, whatever it might be. If your prospect or your potential clients are business owners, this is gonna work. So let's go ahead and dive into this. This is one of the things I've been getting requests on pretty consistently. Nobody knows how to generate leads that are business owners, or they assume that it's a little bit harder. And actually, in most cases, it's a little bit easier because every lead that you bring in the door, as long as they're a business owner, they're probably your ideal avatar that's looking for exactly what you have to offer. So go ahead and look at my screen here. Let's jump right in. What you're gonna see on my screen is LinkedIn. And I did this on purpose because most people are gonna think the platform to utilize, whether you're running ads or just doing outreach, is going to be LinkedIn. And that is 100% wrong, at least right now. And I'm gonna break down exactly why. The LinkedIn algorithm for paid advertising is not quite where we want it to be. Does it probably have your ideal avatar? Yes. But on average, people are on the LinkedIn app for 40 minutes per day. Whereas on the Facebook platform, it's up to 3 hours on average, which means you have significantly more time to get in front of people. Plus, nearly the same amount of business owners are actually on the Facebook platform as well. So I'm gonna show you exactly how you can target these individuals and generate more prospects. So I'm gonna be switching over here to the Facebook platform. A couple of things that I'm gonna be, just to give you kind of a layout of what you're gonna learn in this video. I'm gonna show you exactly how to create your lead generation campaign. If you have even just $5 per day that you can spend, you can start generating leads. I'll show you exactly how to split test your avatar or your audiences so that you have the best probability of actually getting some leads in the door. So first thing that we need to take note of, I'm gonna go back over to this other tab here and we're gonna go to Canva. What you need to realize is that when you're running ads to a cold audience, kind of like Facebook, where you have to create awareness at the same time, one of the most important things is to make sure that the ad that you create is, number one, attractive. So you don't want to have a hideous ad. You don't have to be a graphic designer with the tools that you have now. You can probably generate most of your ads with AI. But one thing that you want to keep in mind is that it has to be obvious to what you're offering, and it has to be obvious to your avatar so that when they see your ad, they know it's for them. I use something called the 5-second rule to determine this. So within the first 5 seconds of looking at your ad, they should know exactly whether or not that ad is for them. So a lot of times what people will do is they have these crazy ads with a bunch of writing with a list of all of the services and the things that they offer. A lot of times it's just too much information to take in the first 5 seconds. You got to keep in mind that most people are just scrolling, watching reels, or scrolling looking for posts that they actually enjoy reading or watching or whatever it might be. So in order to get their attention, we need the attractive ad and we need something that's super obvious. So if you're looking at my screen here, this is a perfect example. So let us close your deals. And then below that, we guarantee more closed deals. You can probably assume or make an assumption what this is for. So right when someone reads that and sees the ad, within the first 5 seconds, they know what it is. If they're a business owner, it's going to be attractive to them. If they're not a business owner, they're just going to keep scrolling. Now, what does that do? Facebook, the algorithm specifically, is going to be able to take that information of who's spending the most time on the ads and retarget the individuals that should be seeing the ads. Like I said before, if it's just your average, someone that has a 9-to-5, has no dreams of starting a business or whatever it might be, they'll see this ad and they'll just keep scrolling. So that data we collect and we see, okay, these people, the people that are spending time on the ads is not this demographic, so we're not going to retarget them and continue showing people that are like this the ad, if that makes sense. So it collects demographic data from people who are spending the most time on the ad. That's how the algorithm gets smart and continues to show the ad to the right people. So you want to make sure that you're creating your ad and the writing on the ad and everything is very obvious to the avatar. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy this down. We're gonna act like that we spent a lot of time on creating this ad. We put a lot of thought into it. We're gonna download this so we have something that we can actually upload to the Facebook platform. Okay, perfect. I don't know the exact stats on this either, but if you look at the numbers of how many business owners or small business owners in America or wherever are actually on Facebook, the number's pretty astounding, and it's actually a lot closer to the LinkedIn number than you would think. So now we're gonna transition over to Facebook platform. Now, to keep in mind, my business personally is 100% B2B. 75% of our traffic comes from Facebook. And if you look just from today, these are all B2B leads. Our average cost per lead is $6 $6.58. So if you want $6 leads for your B2B business, follow exactly what I'm about to go over in this video and you'll probably get a step closer. First step here, we're gonna click create on a campaign. Now, one quick thing, if you've never created an ad campaign before in your life and this is your first time watching it, you can find a lot of tutorial videos on how to set this up, but a couple of things that you're gonna need: a business manager as well as an ad account that has a verified payment method on it. Those are the only two things that you need to be able to see the screen that you're looking at right now. So once you get to this screen, we're gonna click create an ad and we're gonna go to leads and we're gonna click continue. We're gonna go down to manual leads campaign and I'm gonna walk you through all of this. So there's 3 levels to creating an ad on Facebook. Now, level number 1 is the campaign level. Level number 2 is the ad set level. Level number 3 is the ad level. The campaign is where you set the campaign level stuff. Very sophisticated, I know. But one of the only things you really have to control for at this level is the advantage campaign budget, which is basically taking the budget that you set for your campaign and dispersing it across all of your assets that are underneath that. So if you have 10 ad sets, for example, then your budget that you set at the campaign level will be dispersed evenly across all of those assets. Unless Facebook thinks that one ad set is doing better than the other, then sometimes it just starts to spend money where it wants to. And I'll get into that a little bit later. But I typically do ad set budget optimization. So I'm not going to do anything on this level right here. We're going to go to the next step. Now, I'm going to click instant forms for our form of how we're going to collect the prospect's information. This is typically what works best, and I will explain why, especially in B2B, because usually business owners, if they know what they want, then they know what they want. In some cases, depending on how high ticket you are, you might want to have some sort of application funnel with a VSL, but in 99% of cases, this is going to work just fine. A lot of people will give you this, they have this wrong idea of how instant forms or lead forms on Facebook will actually bring in lower quality leads. That's not the case. The case is it brings in more leads overall. This might be getting too complex. I don't want to confuse anybody, but when you're using a landing page, you use something that's called a pixel and you install on the page, and that's kind of what collects demographic info to continue showing the ad to the right people. When you're using a lead form, you get to collect data directly into the Facebook platform, right? So it's collecting more data. The retargeting is better. It gets shown to more people are going to opt in. That's just how it works. Now, a lot of times you'll get more lower quality prospects, which is true, but you also get more medium quality prospects and more high quality prospects. But what we don't want to lose is that middle ground. The medium quality people are actually the people who set us or take us from average to above average. Because if we have an application funnel, we take people through a bunch of steps or whatever, we're trying to get high quality leads by running a different process, we miss out on those medium quality people. Sometimes they just need a little bit of nurturing, a little foreplay before they make the decision to sign up with our business. Now, when we give them a user-friendly process that is on the Facebook platform, not only are they going to be retargeted better, but we are going to get more opportunities or swings at the plate for those medium quality people that are kind of on the fence. Anyway, that is a long-winded explanation on why I like instant forms. We're going to scroll down. You're going to need a Facebook page connected there. Then you're going to set your budget to whatever you want. This can be from, it could be, I don't know if they'll let you do $1. Let's actually see. It can be as low as $1 per day. I would advise at least bare minimum, I usually say $33 per day. You can probably get away just because the feedback, there's a 7-day feedback loop and there's something that's called the learning phase. You want to be able to spend enough money so that you can collect enough data for the ad to actually improve over time. You can probably get away if you're on a budget with $10 per day. If it's anything less than that, then I probably wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't run the ad. So, well, I guess it depends on your goal. If you're running a brand awareness ad, spend as much as you want. You spend $1 a day on that. If you're trying to generate leads, spend 10, or else you're going to be wasting money. Okay, perfect. Moving on to the next step. Don't need to worry about that. In most B2B services, and maybe this isn't you, you can really keep it as broad as you want. So just targeting the entire US, or if you're in the UK, you can do that, or even multiple countries at the same time, if you're helping businesses scale or whatever it might be. So let's stick with US for now. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to switch to original audience instead of advantage audience. And to give you an explanation of what advantage audience is, it's really just leveraging the Facebook algorithm a little bit more and kind of really letting it take the reins on who it's going to target and find. I'm going to use original audience on this setting because I like to change and manipulate the age range. And step number 1 is we're going to keep it super broad. If you have a good ad, a broad ad is still going to perform well. That's the beautiful thing about the Facebook algorithm right now. It's so far ahead of the other platforms. Like I mentioned in the beginning, LinkedIn has a unfortunately a terrible algorithm at the moment. So it costs, in most cases, more money to generate a lead, and then the leads don't necessarily convert. As much as we want to believe that LinkedIn has the perfect avatar and they have, all the people that have more money, it's not the case. Hopefully in the next couple of years, the LinkedIn algorithm improves, is more like Facebook, and we can hit more people that way. But for the time being, we're using Facebook. I typically do, depending on the types of businesses you're aiming for, like for example, if you work with construction companies, I would probably go up a little bit higher to like 27. But in this case, let's keep it pretty broad. We're going for business owners. Let's keep it 25 to 60 is a pretty good range. And then genders, I would go all genders. And then advantage detailed targeting, I would turn that on as well. And what this is basically saying, do I give Facebook permission to go outside of the parameters that I have set if they feel like they can do a better job? Keep this on. So this is basically saying if it comes across someone that is a business owner that's 23 years old that thinks that they would be a good fit for our service based on the data that it's collected, are they allowed to do so? So we're gonna keep this on because it's less likely, but there definitely are from 18 to 19 to 20 to 21, 22, 23, there are people within that age range that do have businesses. It's just more likely for them to be over the age of 25. However, if Facebook finds someone that thinks they're an ideal avatar, we can still allow them to do so. And then placements, we're just going to keep advantage placements. In some cases, I would open this up and get really specific with which placements they're on. Lately, the advantage placements has gotten better and better on the Facebook platform. So usually they just kind of find what works anyway. What placements are is it's where they're seeing the ad. So are we showing them on Reels? Are we showing them on just posts? Are we showing them on Facebook Marketplace, etc.? We're going to let Facebook decide here which one is working the best, and it will kind of navigate towards those platforms anyway, or those placements, I should say. All right, perfect. And let's name this. So we're going to name it 25. So business owners, 25 to 60. All right, perfect. And then let's just number this ad number 1, and I'm gonna upload this bad boy. We're gonna turn off multi-advertiser ads. This is basically taking your ad. It'll tell you that it can show it to more people, but it's taking your ad and it's showing it next to your competitor's ad. So it's not singling you out in any way. They trick you and say, hey, for a smaller amount of money, we'll show this to more people. Yeah, you're being shown to more people, but next to other people's ads, so it doesn't really make sense. We're gonna turn that off. You have to create a form that you want people to submit. You can keep this super, super simple. A couple of the rules are rules of thumb here. Set it to more volume. You can skip the greeting, or you can include one if you want. I always skip it. 2 questions on the form, typically one that's a multiple choice that makes it easier to answer, and then the second one that is short answer that makes them type their answer. For me, I have what CRM do you use, and then the second one is what type of business do you own. I like having a short or easy to answer short answer question because there's something about them just having to manually type in an answer that will just like increase the quality of the traffic that it brings in. And then you're going to be collecting full name, phone number, email, and then your ending screen, you should always redirect them to a calendar of some sort. So it could be a Calendly that you have set up, or a Go High Level calendar, or whatever it might be. The reason why we want to do this is for user-friendly booking process. A lot of times people miss out on bookings just because they don't allow the person to know exactly what the next step is. So right here, they submit their information, they're taken to a page that says, book now, wait, you're not done, book your call below. Obviously, this makes it easy for the person to know exactly what to do next. Sometimes people submit forms and they don't know if they're supposed to check their email, or if they're going to get a text message, or what the next step is at all, if they're going to get a phone call, etc. They should know exactly what the next step is in the process. Don't make it confusing. Okay, so we have the form created. Now let's upload the ad creative. So we're going to set up the creative here. I'm going to go to media, and we're going to upload, and I'm going to, did I get a chance to save that ad? Okay, we're going to go back and download this ad very quickly. So we're going to download, and then I am going to go back over here. Here we go. I'm going to select this image. All right, now it's going to take you to this step. I like square images. They've worked the best for me for the last 3 years, so I continue to do so. I've tested other things out as well. Video ads work well as well, but if you're in the place where you're just starting out, image ads will work just fine. And most of our image ads convert more than our video ads. So image ads work very, very well, especially for B2B. Okay, perfect. Make sure it's original on all of these, and then we're going to continue. We're going to continue, and all enhancements is fine. Let Facebook do its thing with testing those. Next thing you're going to want to do is have a great sales copy. Now with ChatGPT, it's hard not to have a good sales copy. So just type your offer in, be very descriptive. The biggest mistake I see people run into whenever they're trying to create an ad copy and they're failing miserably is they don't give it enough information. So give it information about the offer, number 1, about your business model, tell it that you want a Facebook ad copy, and then tell it to do research online for Facebook ad copy, like guidelines, before before it writes it, and then tell it to write. And then copy that down and paste it right here. One of the most important parts about writing an ad copy is the first, actually, let me go ahead and just grab one really quick. So we'll pull this up and we're gonna say, I use the voice recorder on ChatGPT as well, works great. So I'm gonna say, so my company places sales professionals in businesses that will close at above a 20% rate to increase revenue. I need you to do some research online for an ad copy, and I need you to write an effective ad copy that is made for Facebook specifically. All right, so now it's doing its own research. Perfect. I only need the body copy. I want you to create it in paragraph form, maybe 2 to 3 paragraphs. I want you to have a really good hook in the beginning and use emojis to make it a little bit fun and organized. Boom, this is perfect. All right, so now we're gonna go back to the ad. I'm gonna paste this here. All right, and here's the changes that I would make. So if you take a look over here on the right, you'll see, let me zoom into this. So you'll see that there is a little paragraph and then there's a see more button. What we wanna do, the most important part about the ad copy is making sure that this gets the attention of the avatar. The number one most important thing is the image. The image created has to be good enough for them to even want to read anything. So if we lock them in right here, they're gonna look up here and see what else we got going on. So I'm gonna come here, the only change that I would make is we want to incentivize them to read more. Okay, perfect. So now if I scroll back over here, here's the first thing they see. We want to incentivize them to read the rest of it. Click this see more button, okay? So the first thing they're gonna see is the image. They're like, wow, this is for me. Then they're gonna come up here. They're gonna see tired of watching leads slip through the cracks. You're not alone. Here's how we fix it. The only way they can see how we fix it is if they click the see more button. Now they're reading the rest of the ad copy. The more time we can get them to spend on the ad, the only way they would really want to even make it that far is if they were a business owner. The more time we can get them to spend on the ad, the better, because then Facebook is understanding, oh, this is the avatar, this is the demographic of the individuals that are spending more time on the ad. Let's find more people like this. And if we get them to open up the form, even better. So here's the ad copy. Great. Now the next thing I would do is, it looks like this is ready to go. Next thing I would do is I'm going to go back up to the ad set level, right? So we have the campaign created. We have the ad set created with all of our audience, etc. And then we have our ad created. Now I'm going to duplicate this, right? Because if you look over here, we have 105 million estimated audience size. Facebook's algorithm is insane, guys. I know that seems like a lot, but it will be able to dial down exactly who your avatar is if the ad creative is made correctly. But if we're testing business owners, really anything could work. So here's what we're gonna do next. Next, we wanna shrink the audience down a little bit. We're gonna find like a medium audience size, and then we're gonna find a smaller one. So I'm gonna duplicate this ad set, and we're gonna duplicate it twice. All right, so this one's gonna be a bit different. For now, I'm just gonna label this 2. We'll come back up and rename it later. We're gonna scroll down to the detailed targeting, and we're gonna edit this. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get more specific. We're only gonna do small business. So this is small business behaviors specifically. Here we go. So behaviors of small business owners. And then we're gonna uncheck this bad boy. All right, so that took our estimated audience size from 105 million to 4.9 million people. Still relatively large. You don't want to shrink it too much because then it just gets more and more competitive. But 5 million people, I think that's great. And then all we're targeting is we're aiming for behaviors of small business owners. So Facebook tracks the activity of what videos you watch the most, what videos you open the read more button on, or pictures you open the read more button on, just your overall activity on Facebook. And it tracks categories of what small business behaviors. So what small business owners typically do when they're on their phone if they own a business. Right? So it tracks that, and we're tracking, or we're targeting everybody who has those behaviors, if that makes sense. So we're going to come back up here and we're going to do and then let's go down and widen up the, let's make this 20 instead. Still the same. Okay, perfect. So 20 to 60 small business owners, great. Lastly, we're gonna get even more specific. So make this 3 for now. So we're gonna come down here, we're gonna uncheck this box, and we're gonna do small business owners. Now what we're gonna do is narrow the audience. So we have the 4.9 million audience size again. We're gonna narrow the audience, and basically what this means is we're looking for people, right? Whenever you segment it like this, we're looking for people who have small business owner behaviors on the advertising platform, whether it's Instagram or Facebook. And then we want it to also, we want that category, so the 5 million people of that, we want them to also, we're trying to target a category within a category. So we want them to also match this next thing. And this is where we can get fun with it. So let's say I usually do, depending on the service that you offer, you know your avatar better than me, but I will do enterprise sizes. So let's say company. Actually, let's type in. So large business to business enterprise employees. Well, we don't necessarily want to target the employees of the company. Here we go. Company size. So we have company size more than 500. Great. Let's throw it in there. Company size 11 to 100. Now look at the estimated audience size over here, how much that shrunk. So it's at 16,000. So this is not, we need to be much, much larger than that. Company revenue, 1 million to 10 million. Companies founded between 2000 and 2009, great. New active business in the last 24 months. Here we go, that was a jackpot. In their bio, in their Facebook bio, they have owner. They have founder, director, or CEO, owner, manager, co-founder and COO, owner and CEO, co-owner. Perfect, this should be good. Okay, yeah. We're right around 1 million. So now we have one setting, one of our ad sets that is about 1 million people, right? And then we have a second one that is 5 million, then we have one that's 100 million. So extra broad, kind of broad, and not so broad. So what we're gonna do is have a naming convention for this as well. So we'll call this $22.60. Okay, perfect. So now I would say, since we've already created the ads, now typically if you had more than one ad, like 2, 3 ad creatives, I would wait until to create one entirely, like the all 3 ads, and then duplicate the ad set. It will also duplicate all of the ads within that as well. So we have these 3 here. There's no telling. If I had to predict, I would say that the broad one's gonna do the best, especially if you have a good ad creative, but there's no telling which one's gonna work the best, right? Especially if you've actually taken the time, like you can, depending on what type of business owners that you work with, you can get really creative with trying to search exactly what industry somebody is in, the activities they have on the platform, the size of the company, company revenue, etc. So now we have, like I said, we have the extra broad, kind of broad, and then not so broad, and we have those 3 made. We have all the ads within that. This campaign, we go back up to the campaign level, we publish this, and we are ready to go. For the last 3.5 years, the first business that I started was called Gym Closers. It was a marketing agency for gyms. It was 100% B2B. We only targeted gym owners. We did really well, got that to a certain point. We had to pivot, and we kind of morphed that business into a new entity, which was now Active Solutions. It started with conversational AI and AI solutions, then it went to CRMs, and now we pretty much do everything just about full service. We've been running these type of B2B ads for the last 3.5 years, and Facebook advertising specifically in B2B is the only reason why we've been able to get to where we are. Obviously, we've learned a lot along the way. We've had great team members, but we wouldn't be able to generate the leads, the appointments, and sales on autopilot if we didn't have this platform. A lot of times people will tell you that, you know, your avatar, and I hear this all the time, your avatar is on LinkedIn. It is 100% not true in most cases. Now, you might be a special exception if your avatar is on LinkedIn and you're on this call, but I would say, or you're watching this video, but I would say that 99% of the time, if you are a business owner, your avatar is definitely on Facebook. You just have to find the right way to target them. So thank you for watching this video. The only reason we make stuff like this is to give you the option to make significantly more money than you're making right now. Try something in here, actually implement it, and I hope it gets you the results that you need. We also have a 100% free school community in the description below. If, for whatever reason, you don't want to do this by yourself, you can also click in the description and book a call with our team to see if we can help in some way, shape, or form. Thank you for watching the video. We'll catch you in the next one.